Welcome to the Coliving with PadSplit Podcast, where we talk to successful PadSplit investors and have them share their secrets to success, not only in PadSplit, but in other facets of real estate. This podcast will help you expedite your learning to be a successful investor in the co-living space. We are your hosts, Ray and Orianna Nunez. Show us some love by subscribing and sharing so we can continue to bring on amazing guests. We didn't just talk about it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Coliving with PadSplit Podcast. This is Ray Nunez and
Orianna Nunez.
And in today's episode, we have David Buckles.
Welcome, David.
What's up, guys?
So much to talk about with David. We're going to talk and discuss not only how you got into PadSplit, but as well as your flipping business, how you grew your flipping business, how you got started in real estate, as well as where he's going in real estate in regards to expansion, so what encourages him to go further. Thank you for showing up to today's episode.
Can't wait for you to hear it all. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. We're excited to have you. We're excited to have you. Let's start with, I want to know where did you start your real estate career?
Yeah, so that's a great question. My dad, back in the I graduated high school 2007. Mm-hmm. Throughout high school, my dad, he was a GC, and he ended up getting a business partner, and they were building spec homes, and this business partner was a broker. I always thought I wanted to take over Dad's construction business. That's what I knew.
Right.
Until I saw this guy, and I was like, yo, I want that guy's job. Like, all he does is, like, sling deals on the phone.
Whatever he's doing, I want that.
And my dad's, wow, these freaking guys can't swing a hammer right, can't keep the job site clean. So that's when I kind of saw the transition. I was like, I want to do that. Uh-huh. And so right out of high school, I got my my real estate license.
Okay.
The only people buying in that 2007, 2008, 2009 were the investors and the well-qualified buyers.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very similar to what's happening today. Mm-hmm. So I got my start in, like, the last crash that people remember, or the most recent crash, I'd say. And so I got into real estate, and I was just hunting down deals. I would have a signed contract page and an escrow check, a copy of an escrow check for a couple of my investors. Mm-hmm. And as long as I was submitting offers in their buy box, they didn't care. I was just sending them out. I'd probably send 100 offers a week. Maybe we get one.
Right.
But, like, that's how I got my start. And so when I got into real estate, it was to be like the broker. But then I was like, who's buying? It's the investors. Okay. Then I wanted to be the investor. And so, like, that's kind of how we've alluded to where we're at today.
That's pretty awesome. Great time to start.
Yeah.
This is like you either make it or it breaks you and you don't want to get into it ever again because it was such a bad experience. That's a pretty awesome story.
Broke
honestly.
A lot of people.
It did.
2008. There's people who stopped doing real estate immediately afterwards, or were holding too many properties, or doing too many projects, or over leveraging themselves. And hearing you just mention that, I'm like, what was I doing? Anytime I have a guest over and they say dates, I'm like, damn,
where was I?
I should have got into real estate immediately after.
But I didn't know what I was doing.
You didn't know what you were doing.
Serendipity, bro.
I didn't want to join a team. I really got my real estate license because another guy, a friend of my dad's, he was the frontline sales manager for Orange Lake Resorts.
Okay.
And so I was like, yo, I'll be 18 and make $300,000-$400,000 a year. That sounds great to me. I was very money motivated.
Yeah.
Since I was 15, I was mowing yards. I was loading up stuff in the back of my truck and driving around the neighborhoods when I didn't even have a driver's license.
Do you think that's something that comes from your family, your parents?
Yeah.
That,
my dad was always like a whatever it takes kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so he instilled that at a young age. So during that real estate crash, when my dad was in construction, his partner, they split. There was no money. They had a couple spec homes that the partner actually ended up moving into that they couldn't sell. And so, like, when all that happened, my dad was like, no, I'm not building anything. What do I do? And so, are you guys familiar with Halloween Horror Nights?
Yes.
So, family
Too
friend.
familiar.
He is Fake Productions, and Fake Productions is the one who builds most of the haunted houses and stage props and all those things for Halloween Horror Nights. So my dad ended up kind of partnering with that guy, doing a little bit of work with him. But now my dad's general contractor's license is the license that qualifies everything for Halloween Horror Nights.
Love it.
So it's a really, really cool thing. And again, my dad, whatever it takes. And so that's from a young age, I witnessed it. And then that's what we do, whatever it takes.
I love that. When did you create your team? Because I know you have a team. Right?
Yeah.
What does your team do? Like,
so
I know you do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I was a one-man band for a long time, just chasing deals. And I say for a long time. I had partners that split that only lasted about a year. And since 2021, it's just been me. Then my brother came around and was like my right-hand man for a little while, helping me do whatever it takes.
Right.
And so last year,
2021 was also hard.
Very hard.
2020, COVID just happened. People are skeptical. Nobody's buying. Nobody's moving. Money's like not moving.
My
anywhere.
lenders were like, nope, we're not lending no more. And I
Right.
was like, oh, so what do I do? That's when I started marketing for vacant
I
land.
feel like it paused. Real estate just literally took
I
a pause.
couldn't buy a house. I flipped one house in 2021.
Damn.
But I flipped like 20 lots.
Right.
I was buying dirt and putting it on the MLS,
Right.
wholesaling it to builders. And so that was 21. And then 22 came around. I did a lot with realtors. That's where I met my current teammates right now, is because I was doing, free classes. I was, some of my friends are running teams. And I found a group of people and I was like, I like you guys. And then 2023 rolled around and I was like, I need help. So I handpicked, John Hart, my agent. I was like, I like you. We can work with that. He helped me find a bunch of deals. He's responsible for at least 60, 70% of our deals.
He's
and
pretty
then
sharp.
Yeah, Rachel, our project manager.
Oh, love her.
She came on board a year ago and we did I think she said we've done 25 flips together.
That's crazy.
And so
Last year.
between March 23 and March 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
So
That's a flip a month. No, two a month.
About 2 a month.
2 a month.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
we were
good.
pretty aggressive. And so now that we've had those people in place, it helps us be able to expand. Because I couldn't do what I do by myself anymore.
Right.
Couldn't do it at all. And so they're great.
I love that. I think that the more we talk about business and things of that, we understand the importance of delegation. And it's scary to delegate your responsibilities to someone else because you feel like, who's going to do it better? Like,
Right.
who knows more than I do? Because I've been in the field. I've been in the trenches. But taking away that fear and delegating is how you scale. It's truly how you succeed and you're able to accomplish all these things. And
I got trust issues though. That's
I
do.
get it. Like, same here.
and that's what they say. Everyone says you got to get over that, and I 100% agree. But there's also levels to it.
Yeah.
Levels to how big do I want to really scale will determine how much do I really need or want to delegate. And so that's what I've been going through a little bit lately, is determining what that future looks like and how much of a team do I really want to have to be responsible for. Because when the rates went up to 8% last year,
It's crazy.
I was holding 6 properties. They weren't selling. I couldn't pay people on time. I couldn't pay them on time. So now I'm on the phone calling, hey, I need you to give me a couple extra weeks. This closing got pushed. That closing got pushed. And luckily, my team, Rachel, she's a superstar for being able to just hang on board because she believed in the vision.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about before, there's certain times in certain periods where people are just getting pushed out of the business. And that's happened over the last 18 months.
That's right.
2022, when the rates swung up all the way, that was peak pricing. The market's only come down. Sure, it's, year over year showing an increase, but we're down from peak and rates are still the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's just a lot of pressure, a lot of people getting pushed out of the business,
Including realtors.
a lot of realtors.
lenders.
A lot of realtors are mad at me right now for just calling them out.
Let's shake it. Let's shake some trees. It's fine.
But hey,
Why are they mad at you, bro?
because I demand accountability. I demand accountability for our industry because just with the political climate with police officers, one police officer does something bad and now everyone thinks all police officers are bad.
Yeah.
So now you got the NAR lawsuit. You got all these realtors who are out here just spewing headlines that they don't even read articles about. This is the lowest barrier to entry in the professional industry.
It
is
is.
a residential realtor or just real estate license in general, because the same real estate license can get you into the commercial world. So how is it that the commercial world and residential is so different? What's the level of accountability in the industry? It's the level of professionalism in the industry. And so that's what I demand. I demand accountability. Know your stuff, know your numbers. I had a call with a realtor yesterday, one we all know, one that does really well, sending me deals, didn't run comps, didn't know the numbers, doesn't know the area, trying to sell me on something $100,000 overpriced.
Well,
Come on, guys, you just want that little commission.
it doesn't shock me though.
Yeah.
It's sorry, go for
No,
it.
I was gonna say I feel like at some points or some aspects to be a realtor, it's almost like playing lotto or gambling, where we're and okay, full disclosure, realtor. So, we got it listed. Oh, we don't want to challenge this person. Oh, we just want to throw it up there, and guess what? there's not that much inventory in MLS. I can get what I want. No, you can't.
You can't.
And that's the thing that people don't get pressed on.
Well, most realtors don't even they don't know the numbers. No. They don't know the data. They're not following. Like, if you guys follow me on social media, and for those of you who don't, give me a follow. You'll see I keep a lot of it. I keep it real. Would you agree?
Yep.
I present the real-time data, and because I don't feel like anyone in our circle is doing that. Like, no one's talking about the here and now data and what's going on in the market. So when I show month after month of inventory increasing 30, 50, 60% in Florida, like year over year for the month of March, what do you think is going to happen in April with demand still being down? I bet you we have a 60, 70% increase year over year from, when the April numbers come out. So that's really exciting for us because I'm in buy mode for PadSplit.
That's right.
And we're going absolutely ham, as they say, as the kids used to say.
Yeah. I think there is also the difference between the realtor that only exclusively deals with first-time home buyers and the realtor that's investor experience.
Correct.
And that's a very small niche because there's very few of them. But even those don't know it. They're not investors themselves. They haven't flipped one house. They haven't turned one brick. So they don't even understand what it takes and the numbers behind a renovation.
Exactly.
From buy and hold or fix and flip, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't understand it because they haven't experienced it themselves. So that's also why it's upsetting when some of these realtors talk numbers, but they don't come from experience, just out of...
Maybe you're going to get him started because this is...
I know,
this
sorry.
is literally where... Is
I know, we
turn
turned the
here?
page.
Well, I'm willing to go down the rabbit hole too.
But I do want to... So pivoting from here.
That's okay.
You did 23 flips in the past 12 months, right? When was also the idea or the pivot into starting PadSplits? Like, what was that connection between those two? Because you've been successfully flipping.
So everyone that I ever talked to that saw what we were flipping was like, so how many are you keeping? And I was like, I got a goal first. I'm trying to stack the cash. I'm not ready to start keeping yet. I have a goal.
Yeah.
So that was 2020, 21, 22, even into 23. So I believe we met February 23. And we were introduced, and I was like, okay, help me understand this concept. And because of the BRRRR, I wanted to start keeping, but with rates moving up, I'm like, I can't BRRRR. This doesn't make sense. We're going to have to wait for rates to come down. But then we find PadSplit, and I said, oh, wait a second. I don't need rates to come down. I can make money on this. I'm paying my investors 10%. I can make money on the spread until I refi. This is fantastic. So I said, okay, let me figure this whole thing out. So we kept flipping, and then the rate swing. Last September, October, 6, 7, 8, within a matter of a couple of weeks, everything's on pause, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm never going to go through this again. So we had, I think, 6 flips in the pipeline that we just, okay, PadSplit, flip, PadSplit. And so it just set those off to the side. And then that's why we were able to launch with 4 PadSplits in January, February. We got 2 more that just came on, another one that we're working on. And then this was it Palm Bay?
Yeah.
So we're about to have 8 PadSplits in a matter of, 6 months. And it was just because our conversation, understanding the model, watching the market, the light bulb is okay, now's the time.
You saw the signs.
And so now I don't want to touch a flip. I'll flip the good ones, but when you look at what's going on in the sub 400 market, sales are down 20%.
And that's really where you make your money as a flipper.
The first time home buyer pool is the largest buyer pool, but it's down 20%. It's not a sandbox I'm going to enjoy playing in during recess because there's not much activity.
No.
There's nobody playing with us. So that's why I'm trying to stay away from the flips, get really aggressive with buying the PadSplits because I think for a couple of years it's going to be hard to sell houses. The demand's going to remain low, and
it is.
People still need places to live though. 100%. And it's going to be at one of my houses.
That's not going to change.
Yeah.
Damn, I had 2 questions, but one I'll leave on motivation because I was going to ask I know financially then why you did PadSplit, but then the question that I would probably want to ask more later is, was there any other reason when it comes to your life or your personal life that also had you pivoting towards having more rentals as opposed to something that's more of an active strategy? But that is
active cash.
That is too damn of a good pivot into a conversation we had prior. But okay, so you jumped in with almost 6 PadSplits immediately. We'll go with this route first.
Pretty awesome. You go very quickly.
Thank you.
As a flipper,
Had your guys' help in my corner.
I appreciate
It's I love that you took action. Like, I keep saying this because we speak with so many different investors that are curious, that know that the answer is right in front of them. PadSplit. And they're still very kind of hesitant because it's a newer strategy, or, you know, they don't know, or their friends haven't tested enough. And that's the difference between the followers and the leaders.
Scared money don't make money.
That's right.
Scared money don't make money.
That's right.
Someone, my uncle used to say that. It was like my bachelor party, and we were at the casino, and I was throwing down some money. He's like, throw down some more. I was like, hell no, I got a whole weekend ahead of me. And he's scared money don't make money, son. And I was 24 when I got married, so I was a little younger. This is 10 years ago. And that just rings true in my head, and I say it to everyone. Anyone, oh man, I wish I could get into flipping, and I'm scared money don't make money, man.
That's right.
I think it definitely applies when it comes to investment, and definitely not at the craps table.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just a little bit of fun. We were having some entertainment value.
I would
that
also be
weekend,
scared at 24. I'm like, no, I got my $200. I can't use it.
My brother-in-law was telling me that with scratch-offs at a bowling alley. Scare money don't make money.
Yeah, you're like, all right, dude. Well, my odds aren't really stacked in my favor here. No.
But we see a lot of, okay, so I'll set it up this way. We've seen people with portfolios, long-term buy and holds, convert into PadSplit. That makes sense. We've seen people recently go from short-term rentals into PadSplits. That makes sense. We've seen new people buy into the market and do PadSplits. That also makes sense. I want to go further because we don't see enough flippers convert and decide to rehab properties and keep properties, because it seems like from the outside, because we don't do many flips, slight addiction, adrenaline rush when it comes to buying a property, rehabbing it, and then reselling it. And people don't really vary off of that. They don't get off that path too often. As a person that is a reformed flipper, how's been your transition when doing a PadSplit?
It's like the active cash is so exciting.
I will answer that in two parts. In 2 parts. I'll tell you right now that 90% of the flippers that are out there can't afford to stop flipping.
That's right.
That was me for a while.
It's a full-time job.
You can't afford to stop. Well, if you're doing one at a time, one a quarter, and that's all you're doing, you can make a great living. It's not as demanding, depending if you're working with a contractor or self-managing. One a quarter is super easy, and like, sure, you'll be busy, but like, that's all you make. That's all you do to make your money. Maybe it's 150, 200 grand a year after taxes, whatever your living situation is. You don't really know how much money's left over. So what do? You look for the next deal. You look for the next deal. You don't have enough money to go park it in that deal and start cash flow. So the cash conversion cycle for most flippers out there is the reason that they won't hold properties. I was dumb enough to scale and go as far and fast as I could with my investors, and it's worked, and it's proven successful, and that's why we're where we're at. But when I saw the writing on the wall, I said, okay, I have 6 flips on the market and 6 in the pipeline. Here's my chance. So I was able to take that cash flow to carry us through while these weren't making money.
Right.
And if I didn't have those flips, or if I didn't have those pipeline, there's no way that I could do PadSplit the way that I'm doing it, because I just wouldn't have the cash.
Right.
And so now that I was able to do that, that's why I think, to answer your question, that's why I think most flippers can't and won't, is because they can't afford it. And that was me for a while.
Unless it's been sitting in the market so long.
That's where you've seen it.
Right. Their properties could be sitting there so long that they have to make the hard decision of, I'm losing a lot of money, but maybe if I invest 10 more to make it PadSplit ready, at least or start generating an income. We see that happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's a very safe bet. I've got a buddy who we helped him get his first flip on his own. He did a great job. Area's a little sketchy, kind of Lakeland area, a decent part of Lakeland, but just that particular area. And we're getting good feedback on price, but just it's the area.
Nobody's pulling the trigger. And
so first time home buyer price point $250. He's probably into the deal for $180. So I'm like, bro, you're not going to make a 30, 40K ripper, but you can PadSplit this thing. You can be making $4,000 or $5,000 a month here. Add one more bedroom. He's got a detached garage. He can even create like a studio out of. So he's got an opportunity there to turn it into a great PadSplit. But to your point, it's like if these things sit 50, 60, 90 days on market,
The hard money, if you have it,
It's
it's
expensive.
killing you.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Killer. Let that hit maturity. It's going to make you change your tune quick.
Very quick. Yeah.
Ugh.
That is. We have seen some of those flippers, but not as
Despair
often.
move.
And to your point, some of those flippers are probably not flipping as much. They probably are taking W-2s right now because they don't have a lot of other options because their margins are in there. They're reducing their price too much. So now they're not even profiting, breaking even, which is still not bad. You're not losing.
But like
You're
nobody
not
works for
making.
free.
Nobody
wants to work
Nobody.
for free.
Yeah.
But most people will. Some people do when it comes down to this. And I was just having this conversation about underwriting a deal and how fast a $40,000 deal goes to about $15K.
Oh, yeah.
With a price reduction, a repair request negotiation, and a seller credit, and holding it for 2 to 3 extra months. It's like
It's gone.
It's gone. And so people are sending out deals, or I've got people asking me, looking at these deals, and I'm like, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But, and then there's so many reasons why. Days on market, active inventory, buyer demand, buyer purchase applications. Like, that's one thing that I don't understand. That, like, anybody who's in the business or in the flipping game, or even in the buy and hold game, when you're seeing how many people aren't applying to buy a house, that means they're going to rent.
Nope.
So that means that rental market is up by 20, 30, 50%. So that's the way I look at it. It's like this rental market is growing, so then I'm following the money.
Yep.
That's my theory.
We keep having conversations with other individuals that are attempting to get into home ownership, but it costs them a lot more to buy a home than to rent.
Oh, yeah.
So the option is to continue to rent.
The disparity level between renting and buying is huge, right? That's the unaffordability gap we have. And until it becomes cheaper to buy than rent, more people are going to choose to continue to rent. And I think that's what people need to understand if they're staying flipping or if they're going to get into PadSplit. If you're going to stay in flipping, follow the numbers. Right now, the numbers say the luxury market's thriving, up 15, 20%.
Yep.
So I would be more prone to look at those deals right now because the rich people are still spending the rich people money.
They're buying right now.
And
what is it, over 400 and up to?
No, literally
million
700 and below is experiencing decline in buying activity. Wow. But 800-900, a million plus is up 10, 8, 15, 17%, in those different. I'll send you guys a screenshot I have. But yeah, so you look at that and go, the rental market's going to continue to grow. So if that's what I'm doing, like if that's what the market's doing, that's what I'm doing. When the market was running up, everyone was chasing the market. There's so many people getting into it right now for the wrong reasons because they're chasing 2022 peak prices, right? That they're going to get hurt and they're going to get burnt in some of their deals.
Yeah. I was working for a hedge fund in 2021, I think. 2020, 2021. Yeah. And we drove the prices up. Like we were buying 300 properties in Orlando a month.
It's crazy.
I was submitting 50 offers a day and I was getting 25, 30 of them. And I was acquiring them 20, 30 over asking price. But cash is king. And it came from a really vetted offer, great proof of funds, like we were known in town. So I saw us driving those prices up.
Oh yeah. That's what they say about like the Wall Street money and even the large builders right now. The builders control the market. Yeah. The builders basically set the price for the market because there used to be a 20% premium for new construction over existing. Now it's like 2-3%. There's not a huge premium when it comes to new construction or existing. And so what you also see is a lot of concessions, a lot of builders, they're selling, say, this house for $400,000, but they're like net sale price is like $350,000, $340,000
or
because
of all
the
rate down for you.
Yeah, all this stuff. And so like, what's the actual sale price of these homes? The prices are being propped up by that and the luxury market right now. So this median sale price thing that everyone's hooraying about is false. Just look at the numbers in our neighborhoods. Yeah. Just pull up the MLS. So again, following the money, man, is like one of the big things I've always said. And then also Patrick Bet-David says only the paranoid survive. That's someone else's quote, but he repeats it a lot. And when 2022, when I lost $100,000 on 2 deals, I promised myself I'd never be in that position again. And that's when I became paranoid. And then now I'm just my wife was telling me to put down the phone. She's like, I understand that this is what you do, and we're a little consumed with it right now, and the market's crazy, but like, can you put the phone down for a minute? I'm like, give me 5 more minutes. Like, can I come back in 5 minutes? But there's just so much stuff happening that like I feel like if I'm not on top of it,
you don't want to miss anything, right? You can't miss
this market is weird. No one's ever seen anything like it.
Well, nobody's ever in any of those bubbles. Nobody's been there before. We can learn from some of those, but it's always unique.
Right.
Starting from COVID, like that trickle into a lot of new things in today's market as well. Yeah. So it's interesting. We're preparing ourselves too, though.
I mean, we're definitely having meetings and looking to go raise money. We've talked about this plenty of times so that we can buy more inventory. But I do want to ask, you're buying a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a plug-in on anyone who has a deal, reach out to you. But what's a deal for you? And if you can kind of break it down as in detail or not detail, what areas, what price points, what are you looking for essentially in a pad split or even a flip for people that are watching this?
Yeah, right on, man. So a good deal for me is, I always say, if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I manage all my own construction. I have direct resources to cabinets, floors. I have a partnership with a roofing company now. So like now I get all my roofs at cost, and I can offer this to other investors. Well, not at cost, but something that now I've created for my team and my business is like, that's what I'm able to do. I'm able to mitigate my rehab costs, so I can actually afford to pay more for houses than most of my competition.
Right.
So that 20 or 30% savings that I'm creating in the rehab allows me to beat out these other offers. Right. So if it makes dollars, it makes sense. I know that's kind of a loose term, but what I'm really looking for is to acquire between 150 and say 250,000 within an hour of Orlando.
Okay.
And reason being is I have properties on the coasts, and I have properties in South Polk County and Ormond and Daytona and Palm Bay. Like I don't want to drive that far anymore, you know? So, so 150 to 250, ARV like 350 tops, block home. I won't touch a wood frame with a 10-foot pole. And it doesn't, no amount of rehab scares me.
Okay.
Right. And so if I can get a turnkey property that I can maybe walk into at 68, 70%, so I can do my PadSplit conversion and furnish it and, try and be all in around 75 to 80, like I'll do those deals. And that's what I've been telling my realtors. We put 3 offers in on the MLS this weekend because the deals were marketed at 70%. So I'm like, man, if I can just get it at like 65, like I can do a little bit of this conversion and it still makes sense. I can pull all my money out. I'm trying to do the whole arbitrage free house thing, and I've figured it out. I have my little formula. So, I mean, it's that simple for everyone else who wants to do this as well. I mean, maybe not managing your own construction, but like finding these deals, like they're there. Right. What are we looking? So we're getting really aggressive on the MLS right now because we're seeing the inventory stack up.
Well, and as the pool of buyers diminish, you're also in a position of power.
Right on. Yep, exactly right.
So it's totally beneficial to be in the market as a buyer right now.
And to get real specific with what you just asked, Lake County, Claremont, Mineola, Groveland, Mascot, if anybody has deals, creative, cash, whatever, we're looking really, really aggressively over there because we've formed a strategic partnership with a company that specializes in like transitional living, like sober living, co-living in that aspect.
Love that.
So it's an organization or ministry that takes people that are, battling homelessness or addiction or, coming out of rehabs and things like that. They put them through this program that helps them find jobs, and they have to have a job for them to be eligible in the program. But they also place them in housing, and so they're teaching them how to live again and live independently. Well, they don't have enough housing. Mm-hmm. There are more and more people. They get so many calls every day of people battling homelessness because they just can't afford what's going on in the market. So when we met, we were introduced, and they heard about my model of co-living. They're like, wait, no one else is doing this. Like, how can we work together? And I was like, well, that's why we're here. So anyone wants to send deals in Lake County, we're buying all. That's what we're going all over the place there. And they've actually, because they're a big donation hub, they've even offered to like help furnish all of the houses that we partner with them for. So saving money on plates, cups, bowls, silverware, dressers, beds, sheets. It's like those things that cost us $10,000-$15,000 to furnish a house, this new partnership is going to help us mitigate that and then put people into these homes.
Oh, I'd love that.
So we're growing our PadSplit model, or our co-living model,
Expanding. Yeah.
and so we'll have co-living, but in two different buckets. We'll have our PadSplit.
Love it.
So more retail focused, and this is more under market, niche focused, if you will, but almost like guaranteed.
That's awesome.
I
Good.
love
Thanks
that
for sharing
you're
that.
so grounded in the community itself of Central Florida that you're able to procure these types of relationships with organizations. I've heard in other places like, hey, we're going to work with VA, hey, we're going to work with this, but to hear that you're working with ministries that are able to now fill your properties, and it's not just saying, hey, it's PadSplit. No, I'm also providing with the template of some sorts of PadSplit, but now doing something specific for this organization that will now give me X amount, and now I'm going to go pimp this out to make a little bit more money.
I love it.
Love that.
Solving real problems, helping real people, and we're making real money doing it. And like, that's okay too. I think there's a lot of people who don't see it that way when it comes to like partnering with these ministries, and it's like, oh, that's just like that's a greedy move. Well, it's like, no, like I have investor money that the investors like their money working, and there's a real need in the community. And so we're connecting the dots. Like, again, nobody works for free.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I keep telling Ray, how can we help more people? It's not how can we make more money. Obviously, it translates into that, but it's more how can we help more people? Investors that are struggling, individuals that cannot afford to rent or buy. And that's really how we're expanding and able to do a bigger outreach for those individuals.
Absolutely. I think it's plugging the holes that you see, that you guys talk to so many investors. You know what the main problems are.
Yeah.
Like, you know what most of them are facing. And so I think that you always hear it, people over profit.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true, but it's okay to make money too.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people need to hear that, because the conversations that I've had, there's just some people that are worried about, and I was one of these people. When you start making money, you have to be responsible for that, and then people judge you for it or think of you differently because of it, and must be nice or this and that. And it's like, no, actually, my life is a crazy shit show of phone calls and text messages and contractors, and people don't understand what it takes. And so, like, it's one of those things that it's okay to make money, and the second you're okay with making money by actually doing something that matters, you know that you can stand on both feet in front of anyone and say, listen, I can put my head on the pillow at night. I'm helping more people. I'm not taking money away from anybody. If anything, I'm putting more money in more people's pockets, because I have so much work that we're continuing to fuel our local economy by hiring all of these different people.
Yep.
And that's the way I look at it. Like, we employ a lot of people. We help a lot of people. We provide housing for a lot of people. And so that's what we do. That's what we choose to do to put food on our tables.
I absolutely love that. And I'm very driven by mission. So, I mean, both of us are. So that resonates heavily, because we cause that impact in our local communities.
Right.
And through that impact, we expand into so much more. But you're right. You're housing people. You're employing people. So I love it.
And you guys are awesome, because like you said, you and Ray, is how can you help more people? Like, when we did our event together, like, just being there and doing that, like, that was a free event, right? Free event, because there's so much information that the real sauce is in the implementation. And so you guys are so giving of your time and energy and information that it's good karma. It's bound to come back, right? And that's why you guys are ultimate connectors. I feel like there hasn't been a referral that, say, I've asked for, or people that I know or I've sent you, that you haven't been able to help, haven't been able to help me. That's just not happened yet. So I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. I've told you that before. I think highly of you guys, and I'm so grateful we met, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing with all this, and like having 8 properties in a portfolio like so fast. And I look at just those properties, we're probably going to be at gross $30,000-$40,000 a month here in
incredible.
Like 2 months.
That's incredible.
That's insane. I would have never thought it.
That's incredible.
So now I can pack up and hit the road for a month or two and like not flip a house for a freaking month,
And that's what it's about.
Leaving
It's so good.
So you've been promoted to dad status in the past 2 years.
Yep.
How do you balance the amount of business that you generate, still being a dad, a husband, a son. Like, how is that balance for you?
So when I was 24, 25, I went to Jersey and I took a corporate sales job, and I had the chance. They were big gig and they were all corporate, all that stuff, right? So they had John Calipari, you know,
Okay.
Coach K, or not Coach K. That's a different guy. Sorry. John Calipari. He was with Kentucky. That's where the K came from. So he was there, and we wrote questions down, and like they chose my question, and it was, how do you manage work-life balance by being a championship coach like you are?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, there's no such thing as balance.
There's no
such thing as balance. It's just your life. And then you guys know Pace Morby. He says the same thing. Like, there's no work-life balance. It's just life. And so I had to figure that part out when I became a dad. I was like, okay, how do I balance this? And I just kept remembering, there's no such thing. This is life, dude. You just include it. You incorporate it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I've tried to do more of lately, is just incorporate the girls in everything. Like on Sunday when we went to look at a house to make an offer, we went to the house and then we went to the Claremont Farmers Market afterwards because it was a mile away from each other. And so Quinn's running around the house, you know, trying to stick her fingers in the outlets and all that stuff because it's not baby proof. But then there's also the side of me. Cute. Yeah, she is. Thank you. That the whole reason for PadSplit, you know, it's like, okay, well, I want to be more present and do more stuff and do these things. And so, you know, that you figure it out. You figure out how to make life work. You figure out how to have the things that you want, whether it's the trips and the houses and if you can have it all, you can have it all if you want it. If you don't, then you don't. But like, we're getting ready to take a road trip tomorrow. Actually,
really,
we're heading up to New Jersey for Ashley's friend's baby shower.
Awesome.
But we're gonna go to Charleston, South Carolina for a day. We're gonna go to Virginia Beach, Virginia for a day. Then we're gonna go to Jersey for the weekend, and then come back, and we'll spend a couple days in Myrtle Beach, and then we'll come home. But that'll be like a little 10-day road trip that I haven't been able to do in a very long time.
You've been focused.
And if it wasn't for our PadSplit portfolio, if it wasn't for our flips closing out, if it wasn't for the change of what I saw the market doing and then my strategy, I would have another 6 flips going right now and I would be all the way submerged in that and not being able to do this. And so to answer your question in a very long-winded way, there is no balance. It's just you create the life that you want. And you adapt when necessary. Like Ashley's told me, hey, you're a little busy right now. Like, remember us? I sure do. Thanks for the reminder. Thanks for the reminder. And that's necessary.
Yeah,
and I appreciate her because she's been massively supportive in this entire journey. And that's also very important. Like, you guys being a couple that not only are in business together, but like, you guys are invested together. You guys are totally committed to the process that, like, without a supportive spouse, this would be a lot harder.
Yeah. It would be harder.
It'd be a lot harder. So
there's moments where also one of us is like, hey, it's time for us time. Because we're both workaholic. As awesome as it is to work together, we both can continue in this cycle of like endless work or just hustle, right? The grind. So sometimes it's like, whoa, it's okay. We need to turn off because we need to nurture also.
Yes.
Our marriage. Sure. Yeah, it's me. I'm like, we need to nurture our marriage right now. Not because it's not working. It's perfect, but we can't not attend to it neither.
Boundaries.
Correct.
You create those and
Correct.
They say rules are made to be broken, right? And boundaries are made to be discovered.
Yep.
Like, it's like just, it's what boundaries it is. And so like,
discovered.
you just reach that point where you're like, wait a second, I think the line's like here. So let's take a step back.
Yeah.
And that's just, it is what it is.
And we love it. No complaints. We love it. But it's that realization, that moment that Ashley's like, hey, like, let's do some us time.
Yep. Because I don't know what I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. My mind is completely occupied with all this other stuff. And, you know, like, she's been a stay-at-home mom. And so her job is like so hard and time-consuming all day long, as is mine. But like, mine isn't as emotionally draining as hers is. Yeah. And so I need to be there and do more emotional support.
Yeah.
And that's what, if I can say, if I've learned anything, it's that. It's just being a dad with a new kid and my wife being a stay-at-home mom. It's like, wow, like we both have really busy full-time jobs. Like there's no one that's more important than the other.
Yeah.
Well, hers is because she's raising our daughter, but I mean, as far as like in the supportive spouse thing, it's like, man, she's got a hard job and I need to be there to emotionally support that.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And it's funny because I didn't think about this. I didn't put it in like a sports form, but she's basically the quarterback of the relationship to some degree, because while you're defensive lineman or whatever it is, I'm not a big football fan. I'm basketball, baseball, but while you're in play, while you're making the moves, while you're in the trenches, head down, somebody needs to be looking at the rest of the field to make those adjustments and the pivots and to be in your ear and tell you what's happening.
Yeah.
And that is a crucial part in this process so that you don't get lost. Because to get lost in this business is super easy.
Super easy.
That one question I was going to ask earlier, I felt like you probably already just answered it. And why is it that you started to look into doing more keeping than selling, buying and selling? Your answer in short is family.
Family time.
And that is the reason why you looked into keeping more of your properties versus selling them off.
Because when
you were looking for something, you didn't know where to allocate that or how to create that.
Again, the regular BRRRR strategy, just like it disappeared. Yeah. So I was like, I have to keep flipping.
Right.
I have to. And then again, insert PadSplit. And I was like, I don't have to flip anymore.
Yeah, because long-term rentals is like, how am I going to get any real passive income? How can I potentially scale?
Yeah.
Like getting $200 a month, you know?
That's really crazy.
Your daughter was the catalyst for
I love that.
This change in strategy in your life at this point.
Yes. Yeah. And you don't know until it happens to you. You know, like you've probably heard a bunch of people say that. And it's so true. You just don't know what having a kid does to you until you have a kid.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, now I know what I really want. Now I know what's really important to me. And, you know, Ashley and I have even spoken. We've said, all right, well, if I'm going to sacrifice time, I'd rather do more sacrificing of that time and be busier while Quinn is 1, 2, 3 years old. Because she doesn't understand. She loves Dad when he walks back in the door, and she's great. But when she starts turning 4 and 5, and she's being more involved in activities and sports, or the little kid cheerleading, kickball, whatever it is that the kids are doing nowadays, right? Like I want to be there for it. And so I don't want to be working the way that I've been working in the next 2 or 3 years, because then I'm going to be missing out, I feel like, on my daughter's life. Right now, I see her every day. I'm there to put her, maybe not put her down every night, but I'm there to see her every night before she goes to bed. And it's something that I've really pushed and challenged myself to do, because not to be morbid, but we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Like I want to go to bed every night knowing I kiss my daughter on the forehead. You know what I'm saying? And so I'd rather sacrifice the time now to do a little bit more work so I can actually play a lot more later. And so that's the ultimate desire, the ultimate goal. Spend time with the family, enjoy life. I got a 32-foot camper, a travel trailer in my driveway that we're going to hook up. And we're going to take a road
That's the one that you're
trip.
Using tomorrow?
No, we're not taking that on this road trip, but we're going to pack up and hit the road for a few months and just enjoy ourselves and enjoy life. And that's it.
That's what it's about. If we're not doing that for our offspring and, our future generations, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I see it, obviously. Like, we're here to
we're
change generations, for sure.
Long game, long play. Yeah. We're not doing this necessarily for tomorrow. The stuff that we're doing today is really down the line. You have your short-term, mid-term, long-term stuff. And if you're not doing it for a cause, then you're just playing a game.
Like, are both of our parents or our families really hardworking individuals? So we've seen them always work. And they've built whatever they have been able to build. Maybe they purchased a house or two, but not intentional. It's like, we need to have a house. But it hasn't been with the thought of like, let's build a portfolio or let's get wealthy through this avenue. So our parents are like, why do you guys work so much? Don't work so hard like we do. And we're like, no, the time for us to work so hard is now.
Right now.
Because to your point, I don't want to be, in my 50s or 60s feeling like I'm still working so freaking hard because I didn't laser focus 10 years of my life into really building financial freedom for everybody in our family.
And that 10 years goes so fast.
It's
like, I can think back 10 years and go like, oh my God, I remember like it was yesterday. So I'm like, all right, dude, well, if I can just do this for a couple of years, if I just did this for a couple of years, I could set it and forget it and like literally never have to work again if I don't want to. And that's really cool. Now I'm too ADD, not necessarily clinically diagnosed or anything, but I am too I have to be doing something. I have to be busy. I have to be working. I have to be stressed out about something. Have to be fixing a problem of some sorts. Just because, like, I feel like as men, that's kind of how we're wired. Number one, but number two, it's like, well, we know how to create all this opportunity. Well, I'm just going to create bigger opportunity. That's the next phase for us. So to answer your other question is like, where's this going?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, go deep.
Where's this going?
It going?
Yeah.
What's
Let's do it. Let's go hard.
What's the immediate, like, we're only in, I don't know what
Phase one or two, let's call it.
Is this April? We're in April.
We're in May. Starting tomorrow.
May, May is Wednesday, right? Yeah, jeez.
Cool. So, okay, we're in May. What does the rest of this year look like? What does a little bit of fast forward of that look like?
5 years.
Yeah.
So rest of this year. So right now we have 4 flips closing in May. So I'm trying to redeploy that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to redeploy that capital, and I want to put it into PadSplits. So there's that. I have about another $700,000-800,000 of investor capital that's ready to go. We were trying to spend in April, but we weren't able to lock anything up this month. So like we've got a couple $1 million to spend, and then I have these 6 PadSplits that I'm going to refi. So there's a couple $1 million more of investor money to redeploy. Mm-hmm. So I figure, okay, if I can go buy another 10 houses in the next 4 months, I'll be busy through the rest of the year converting and filling up as PadSplit. Yeah. With some of that money we're making from our flips, we're investing in marketing for land. So I'm not only am I looking for something for my personal, but I'm also going to look into building PadSplits, because if the rates stay where they're at and the prices kind of are hovering and staying where they're at, the build cost is cheaper than existing, buying existing.
And you have
correct
all the materials at a really good cost, which also benefit you.
Exactly right.
Love it.
So I've got a contractor who does commercial stuff, can read, he can read plans. He's not a GC, but he operates as a guy or with a GC, so he can pull out his permits. Great guy, knows what he's doing. We're talking about building ADUs in the back of some of our PadSplits, because I can refi some of these PadSplits. Yeah. For 30, 40 grand, I can build a wood frame, 800 square foot ADU in the back for, like I said, 30, 40 grand. So we're talking about doing that. But more so, yes, getting some of these PadSplits built from the ground up, it's going to be cheaper. Might take a little longer, but because we have as many as we'll be able to wait that time period, and it'll just become, like you said, a little bit more predictable of a game. I can control my costs. I can build the same house for the same price instead of negotiating, having to repair this or that, all of that. But then the other part is buying small multifamily, like 10 to 100 units, trying to get into that. If I can buy 1 or 2 of those deals next year, I'd be happy as a clam. Reason being is because I would do like what they're doing in downtown Orlando. If I've got a 20 unit, I'd take 10 of those units, and if they're 2s, I'd just rent them out by the room instead of by the unit. So I can increase my margin by 20 to 40% on those, while I do long-term regular with the other 10. Right. So just increasing the cash flow, and again, in the areas where it's needed. And so, I mean, that's the long play. Finding dirt, building our own, getting multifamily, but slow and steady wins the race. I am done running as fast as I've been running, because I have the ability to be more calculated. But if it wasn't for the cash flow, I wouldn't have the ability to do this. Going back to our 90% of flippers can't afford to stop flipping. Right. That's why they're not converting to PadSplit yet. So until they get burned, or until they can't sell this next property, like, they're going to do everything they can to make that nickel that they're trying to make. But then if they have to, they'll convert to PadSplit, and then they'll say, why the heck did I not do this sooner? That's what they're going to say. That's what I said.
Well, it's the want of the active cash flow versus the passive.
Well, it's sexier to make 50 grand at a time.
Right.
That's the dream.
But it becomes an addiction, and it becomes then that full-time job that you can't get out of until you're forced into it.
So like our boy Richie.
Okay.
So him and I talk regularly, or semi-regularly, and we stayed in touch over the last year or two since we met. And last year we were talking, and I was like, hey man, I know you got a lot of flips. How's everything going? He's like, dude, they're not selling, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I know, this is why I told you I'm doing this. And so he did his first PadSplit, and he credits it a lot to, obviously, you guys helping him, but just the conversation of me being like, bro, keep it. Don't sell it. Because he flipped one right across the street.
Yep.
No.
So I'm like, dude, just keep it.
And we walked it with him and we were like, Richie, keep this one.
Yeah.
And he's like, my partner, wanted ABC. And we're like, I got it. Two partners, you both make the decision. He was lucky though. He got the one across because he was also flipping that project.
Got it cheaper too.
Yeah. It's just having the conversations with the right people.
Yeah.
And so John Cunningham, another guy who he's been great, like passing referrals back and forth. He's given me some great subcontractors. He's a very active dude in the industry. He does a lot of deals himself. Him and I were talking, and he was bugging me about these pad splits, and I'm like, dude, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just figure it out. Like, you know how to buy houses, you know how to renovate houses, he's got private money that he's been working with. So it's like, dude, all you gotta do is keep it. He's like, Airbnb, this and that. Like, nah, dude, it's different. Next thing you know, he's into the game and he's loving it. And I just look at these flippers that are finally making the jump, and they're all saying that, oh, dude, I should have done this sooner. Now they're not giving up deals. Now they're not selling. Now they're not doing wholesales with the extra inventory that they got. They're like, how can I figure out to keep this? I got to raise more money. And like, when it clicks, man. And it's so cool to see other people doing it. Because I felt alone. You know what I mean? I felt like, why is nobody else doing this? Like, this makes so much sense. Well, am I an idiot?
No, you're not.
Right?
No,
You're not. But I
we've
remember,
just neglected Central Florida a little bit. We haven't grown Central Florida enough, personally.
Well, not even just that, but not everybody's willing to take the risk at first. Now they're following you, but they did not want to take the risk themselves.
And I was just following you guys. Like, you guys had, I think when we met, 50 doors or whatever the number is.
And we haven't done a good job at like explaining to people that we do it. I think that we're like very
they're just
humble.
You got to talk
like,
your shit.
Yeah,
Excuse my language. Bleep that if you need to.
Yeah,
but.
we don't. We're just like maybe very low key about it, and like
listen,
it's kind of like
I'm not going to let y'all be low key. All right,
it's on us, really.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why, but yeah, we have not done a good job at that. But anyways,
it's that fake balance is the balance. We try to balance telling people we're reps, and then we try to tell people
whatever.
that we're
We
investors.
just gotta change the mindset. Just gotta switch it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys believe in your product.
We believe in it. We're drinking the Kool-Aid. We are the Kool-Aid. Like,
you guys believe in your product. You own the product. You operate the product. Like, there's no greater salesperson for the product than you guys.
Yeah.
And when we had dinner the other night, I was telling y'all, like, nobody knows. I mean, people know when they end up talking to you, but like, nobody knows, oh, that's Ray and Orianna who have 50 doors that make XYZ dollars a month, and they're helping guys like David and Kazada and everyone we had at the event. It's like, people need to know that. And you like we talked about earlier, it's not, you shouldn't be shy when it comes to making money. You also shouldn't be shy telling people how you can help them, because what you're proving is like, you can help them because you have the proof of concept on yourself.
right.
You're not just some corporate, talking puppet. Like, you guys are the real deal out here doing it. And that's probably the reason why I jumped in with both feet. You guys sold me hook, line, and sinker because you came in my office and you pulled up your dashboard and you're like, look how much money we're making. And then you said, hey, check out this guy in Tampa. Look how much money he's making. And then like, you just started showing me all these people. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I'm in. And so, like, I feel like you guys need to do more of that.
And you know what's funny? Some of those early starter real estate investors, maybe this is how I see it, but a lot of those newer investors, like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, that have been doing PadSplit, they're experienced, but they're also very low key. Those are the investors that don't want to share their insights and their successes because they don't want to share. Not that we're those people, but like a Mike, a Matt, these individuals are heavy players, but we don't know they're heavy players because they're not necessarily on the socials or anything like that. But if you were to sit down with them, holy shit.
You know Matt? Who?
I know of Matt.
That's what it was.
I know.
Their relationship. Matt
But
will
like,
come out to
but these are heavy
event.
players. We know they're heavy players. And they've been doing fix and flip, all these things, but they saw the signs before a lot of other people. So that's also
He was one of that had a lot of properties that he converted, right?
and he's almost at 100 doors.
It was flips. He has a lot in Ocala that he won't convert yet. He's watching other people onboard properties in Ocala first, but he has a large chunk of his portfolio in Ocala. In Orlando, he had a few properties, but he mostly does flips. Has his crew, very silent. Kind of does an area, very silent.
But a big guy. Like we know so many of these big guys that are just like, and again,
Mike
in their world, they're not trying to be.
Mike don't mind if we sing his praises because he goes, show my account. That's the guy in
so
Tampa.
Mike, really good friend of ours. He's based in Tampa. He's built his portfolio of long-term rentals for over 20 years. 20 years. So like, and he's
how many doors does he have?
I think 320
right now.
That's crazy.
But with PadSplit?
With PadSplit, over
320
$260 a month.
$260,000 a month. That's my kind of guy.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, dude.
But then again, it took him 20 years to build his long-term portfolio. But he was old school in his mindset of like, no, I'm going to build real wealth through holding. Fuck it. $200 per house, $300, $500, whatever. And now he's free and clear. So his cash flow is just absurd.
That's the goal.
We should hang out. Like I could have sworn you were at the Orlando event at the brewery.
Probably met him.
I was.
He was the shorter guy.
I think I remember seeing him.
Loud.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys would have gotten along.
That's funny.
He's awesome.
I'd have introduced you.
But a lot of we know a lot of investors that the goal was to retire fully. To work still, but because it's a choice, not because it's a necessity.
Right on.
And they've accomplished that through acquiring PadSplits and having that cash flow that PadSplit grants them.
Yeah. I'm thrilled to be in the position that we're in and heading in the direction that we're heading. It opens up just so much more opportunity. Yeah. It builds and lends to so much credibility because because I'm chasing down guys like Mike. Because when you show me what that's possible, I'm like, all right. And then guys like Matt, where they're super quiet. And, again, we had our conversation at dinner where I've had thoughts of grandeur. And I've also said, you know what? I could probably, in the same amount of time, work half as much and have the same amount of money and, like, not have to ever talk to anyone ever again. Like, that's not what I want, but, like, it's the freedom of choice. And, like, that is so liberating.
You get to that point. Another big investor, she had like 300 Airbnbs in long-term rentals. Started in Miami, built crazy wealth, and now she's like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Like I'm set. I don't need to.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't need to talk to nobody.
Yeah, but could you really stay quiet, bro? Like
no, but it's the choice. It's the choice.
You can.
I can like Groundhog's Day. I can pop up and say what I need to say.
And nobody knows who you are, but you know you're good.
I want everybody in my hometown to know my name. I don't need everyone on the internet to know my name.
We did talk about that.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to, because I tell her I want to retire, but you hear the word retire and you go, okay, you just want to disappear completely. And it's like, no, not that retire. I want to be able to just come out of my robe and go, this is what I'm doing today.
Yep.
And not have to work towards something actively. I can have something working behind the scenes. I can work on commercial or something.
Hobby driven or, passion driven stuff.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get involved in commercial, but I don't want a new job. I don't want to learn the commercial business. Like I want to meet a commercial broker, and I have a buddy who is one. And it's just like, hey, dude, next year I want to buy this. Help me find that deal. Mm-hmm. And if I can just do that one deal next year, that's a 7-figure deal. Well, happy days.
Yep.
Happy days. I'll do another one next year.
Yes.
That's exactly it. Make decisions on a golf course. Learn a new hobby.
Yeah.
That's my ride out on a horse on a sunset. Like that's my out. But is there an out?
When it's in enough, and what does that look like? When are you like, okay, I'm comfortable. I made it. Like this is good for me and my family. Is there a number? Is there like a...
I don't think there's a number.
Okay.
It's not number driven anymore. I was very money motivated for a long time. Now I'm still money motivated. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's like, okay, once my portfolio is at $1 million a year, like I'm done. That's just like the big 7-figure number, right? That the internet has glamorized and getting to $1 million a year, like making $1 million a year means you're going to have $1 million a year problems. Oh, right. Yeah. And so that's the other thing to take into consideration. So I'm evaluating like, what do I want that to look like? I think realistically, like I mentioned earlier, I can finish out this year with 20 pad splits, be right at about 100 doors because my average is like 5 per house. I think it's a good start. I think I can get those done, stabilize them, and sit back and go, all right, what's next? And that's kind of how I've always like done it because I get so immersed in it. And then I like come up for air and I go, okay, the climate's changed a little bit. and then I make the next decision. That's how it was in 21. I flipped one house because everything was going above ask, and like I couldn't get an offer accepted. So I flipped the dirt until, everyone was catching on, and, I had more competition in the land sales. So I was like, oh, wait, it's 2022. Let me go see who hasn't sold anything in 21 yet. And so then I started I did like 12 or 13 flips in 22. So that's kind of like my thing. I'll come up for air and then adjust. So I think that's what it is for me. I'm going to finish this year out. I'm going to come up for air and say, all right, what's next?
Bro, there's going to be a moment where you're going to come up for air and go, fuck it. This is it. Like, I'm chilling.
And it could, and
I can't put my head down any further.
And you know what? It could be like you chill for a little bit and then you still want more. Because when, like us, very driven people, like, not that it's never enough, but you need a challenge.
I mean, look.
A mental challenge. Like, you need something that's keeping you engaged and, like.
A battle.
Yeah, there needs to be a challenge. Like, I know we're all this way. You might make it, but after a while, you're going to be like, oh, what's next?
Well, that's why now it's like crazy timing, great timing, but I partnered with a roofing company, like a legitimate roofing company, already in business. I'm now a partner in, and there's a need for like commercial, residential. Like anyone who needs or has questions about that, hit me up.
Oh, this is the plug part, bro, by the way. You could plug what part. You need.
All right.
How to reach
but
you.
Wait.
What type
not
of
yet,
business.
Not yet.
Well, no, we're not closing. This isn't stick the landing, but whenever you want to just plug in, hey, roof, reach out to you. Hey, social media, this, or you have an event coming up.
Right on.
Or you have a series of events. Go ahead, bro.
Right
so
on.
if you need a roof.
Dale.
Yeah. I don't have any events coming up yet, but so again, I'm a partner in a roofing company. So that helps me. My other goal is to own or be a partner in an HVAC, AC company, as well as plumbing. Mm-hmm. The three main components of the house. Electrical, I know a good electrician. I don't want to be in that business. Things catch on fire and blow up, and there's a lot of liability there, right? We can fix the roof and insurance stuff.
What about foundation, bro? You going for
Hell
that too?
no, I'm not doing anything like that. But so to your point, like when's enough going to be enough and all those things? Well, it's like, okay, so I've got the houses thing figured out. Well, now I need to control the components of the houses. Uh-huh. I've always said, if you can service houses and hospitals, you'll be in business forever.
Forever.
Right? So I got my hands in a roofing company now. So if you guys need roofs, especially realtors right now who are having trouble with insurance, and even investors having trouble getting insurance on properties, you're going to need roofs. Most people are putting roofs on so they can get better insurance rates anyways. Hit me up. We can take care of you. Get the investor pricing, because that's what I've been getting, since this all happened because I just was a repeat customer. And then he finally was like, you want to do something? And I was like, absolutely. I've been waiting for this moment. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that next year. I think I'm going to be more so into building that business, because the houses thing is going to be on, like, I have agents sending me deals every day. So when I get the good ones, I'll probably buy a house or two a month still. And that'll be on autopilot. My brother will help continue to run that side of the business while I just dabble in, hey, I'm starting an HVAC company. I'm going to go network with Ray and Orianna. Let me call my realtors. And I'll just be providing the value that I know I can bring to the marketplace, because people have seen me build this business over the last few years. I've put in the work. I've shown it. I've talked about it. I haven't hid anything. I've been raw and transparent. And if anything, I hope that lends to trust and credibility, so that when I say, hey, call me if you guys need a roof, my guys will take care of you, I want people to call us. I want to prove that, because I don't do business with people who I want to refer business to. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do business with people who want to do business with me. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with this partnership. And that's what I want to do with investors and realtors out here is, let's provide value to your customers. If you need a roof, but they can't afford it, we'll take payment at closing. Like, we'll do a 0 down payment at closing roof. And we've done that already for 4 or 5 realtors in the last month. And they're like, oh my God, this is a lifesaver. We wouldn't have been able to sell the house. So there's things like that, again, my problems are going to shift into those instead of maybe houses and acquisitions. But building that empire, having the ability to touch everything in my houses and keep the cost to a minimum, but also help your clients when you're going to, fix up that next house that you guys are buying, holler at your boy.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the ultimate goal. That's the long-term goal.
Love it.
So
what has you most excited?
Opportunity.
Okay.
I see the market swinging. I see the inventory piling. I see the people listing and, asking these crazy prices. And so when I did these flips, I priced them as the cheapest house in the neighborhood, and they all got multiple offers within the first couple of days, when the days on market is average 50 something days in the state of Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I beat the market by 48 days
That's crazy.
you know? So I'm trying to stay ahead of the market. Like I'm not dabbling and playing these games because every day is $1. You know, every day is more than $1 when you have 6 properties that you're holding, paying interest only on. So I think I'm most excited for the opportunity, for the growth. Again, the market is heading in more and more of a rental community. So we're going to build that pipeline while we can. And man, the opportunity to just sit back and take a road trip, you know, take the camper out, disappear for a month or
That's
2
exciting.
or 3. My wife's still like, I don't know how I feel about this road life thing for a few months,
I think
but
she's gonna love it.
we're gonna.
I think she's gonna love it. Like
We
she
talked
don't know
about
it
it.
yet. She don't know how much she's gonna.
We
love
almost
it.
did the tiny house thing, like back in
Really?
2016,
Really?
2017. I was like this close to building a tiny house and just hauling ass.
Which camper do you have? Because there's levels to this.
There is.
There's
So
sprinters, as low as sprinters, as high as Winnebagos, and as large as
Winnebago's
what
real
Will
cute.
Smith has.
we have it's a 32-foot long pull behind trailer.
Wow.
So it's got a slide out, you know.
That's cool.
It's got the queen bed in the front, bunk beds in the back, full shower, kitchen. It's got the whole glamping, you know. Not Airstream. Like I don't have a Silver Bullet. Those things are expensive as hell.
Yeah.
They're really cool, but no, my dad actually went and he was on a camping trip and went to a nearby camper dealership and they were clearing out this 2023 fifth wheel model that was $100,000.
Wow.
They sold it to him for like 60 something.
Holy.
He's like, dude, I gotta buy it, but they're only giving me, you know, XYZ for my trade in. Like, I'd rather sell it to you for that. Do you want it? I was like, yeah. So he brought it home, and
Heck
now it's in my
yes.
driveway,
Heck
and
yes.
so that's the level. I mean, it's
Ashley's gonna
it's probably
love it.
like
She don't know
mid-range.
it. She don't know it. She's gonna love it.
She does. Quinn is just such a. She needs her room to run, so she's like, "Where's she gonna run?" I was like, "Outside. We're gonna be doing
We're
stuff.
gonna park, and
We're-
she's gonna run.
That's it.
That's it. With nature. I
Yeah,
love it.
and we have the dog, so she's being a mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's being a mom, and I'm over here being a dad. Just we'll figure it out. That's been my mantra for life. We'll figure it out.
That's the way to go.
Yeah,
That's funny. Well,
So-
shout out to Ashley and Queenie.
yeah. So, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
And I do this on every phone call, and I give you a hard time about it. But since it's being recorded, how can I help you, or how can your viewers help you guys today?
Be intentional. I want to say that we are looking for capital investment
We're raising capital.
so that we could go buy more properties and scale our portfolio and give fantastic returns to the investors that give money for these projects. So that's kind of what we need at the immediate moment.
And send us referrals. Anybody that is in your circle that it's in real estate that is struggling with their properties and want higher returns, just send them our way. Like, we're here to show them how they can change their future. Like, honestly, I'm not even kidding.
Well, they don't have to be struggling either. FYI.
Yeah, you're right.
You could
They don't
just
need to
be getting
struggling.
into real estate. You're looking at your first property. You're considering flipping. You're considering short-term rentals.
And you don't
Definitely
even know
come
where
our
to
way.
start. Yeah. We'll guide you through the whole process.
Yeah, I was literally I think I mentioned this already. I was just having a conversation with a guy who's like, all right, tell me more about the DSCR rates. Because, I mean, I talk about this stuff. He's been to a couple of the events. He's like, so what's my max cash out refi value? You know, what's my PadSplit, looking like here? And so you're probably going to have a referral introduction from me here this week, because he's impatient. He doesn't want to, it's only been on the market like a week or two. And he's like, if it doesn't sell next week, like, I think I want to convert it. And I'm like, well, I'm a believer. So I say convert it, So there's that. But no, and I think that you guys should do more of that. Ask, you guys give, and you don't ask enough.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Gary V, jab, like right hook.
Yeah.
That's all that you got it up there.
Yep, right there.
Use that strategy, bro. You got the blueprint right there.
There's a reason why the book's there.
Yo, no, seriously, man. Like you guys give, and just that little ask is, if you're afraid to ask, the answer will always be no.
I know. We're never afraid. I don't think we practice it enough.
Yeah. I ask. I
need
feel
to
like I
shift a
only
little.
call you guys when I need to ask you for something.
But we are always here for you. And you know that. Like,
that's why I keep
we're not
calling.
even investors. We're friends by now. Like,
Yep.
we've definitely
100%.
transitioned our relationship into like a friendship for sure,
Yeah.
which has been beautiful. We've met such great people throughout this journey, and we love that because that has so much value too.
Well, this is
Seeing our close people grow.
a
awesome.
great general podcast. I already thought of and I screwed up because in my head I'm like, damn, I could talk about so much more, but some other things. And I'm like, we didn't even geek out on like, what's your method of doing this? What's your method of doing that?
He can come back.
Yeah, no, other episodes, 100%. But yeah, no, this could go for days.
How do we reach you? How do people get more information about what you do? Let's talk about that.
David Buckles. You can find me on Instagram. Hit me up there. I'm not gonna let you spam I'm not gonna let you spam my phone number yet. I'll give that to you guys later.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, follow me on Instagram. If you have deals that you want me to look at, like, feel free. I look at a lot of deals. I say no to a lot of deals because we're very picky and we know what we're looking for. But again, the answer is no if you don't ask. So send me a deal. Ask if I'm interested. I'm actively looking. We've got several $1 million to spend over the next 90 days or so. Other than that, I'm just on Instagram. Like, everybody can find me there.
And then the markets you're buying in, anywhere from Lake County. Do you buy in Tampa?
No, I don't. Haven't ventured over there yet.
So Polk County onto the Space Coast.
Right. Yeah.
That's about it.
Volusia Lake.
I mean, I counted all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really want to get heavy in Lake County. So that's kind of my new focus. That's where that ministry organization is.
Mount Dora down to Claremont.
So Mount Dora is a little too north. So I don't want to be Leesburg, Mount Dora, Eustis. I kind of want to stay along 50 there.
Okay.
Into Mascot. So Mascot, Groveland, Claremont, Mineola, kind of back towards Winter Garden, Ocoee. I got a house in Ocoee. I'd love to buy up more in Ocoee.
I love Ocoee.
Yep.
But I love the other one. I always forget the name.
You like Gotha.
Gotha. I love Gotha.
Gotha's a nice little quaint area.
It's like so underrated. Still great land. I don't know. I love Gotha.
Yeah.
Some beautiful homes over there.
Certain areas, Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like, that's everywhere.
All that I've driven of Gotha is like
land and the big
freaking beautiful houses.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for spending time with us today here.
Sincerely, we appreciate your company, your friendship, any type of conversation we have. It's been fun, and it's always been fun. I'll stick with fun because it's educational and then collaborative and all that. But no, it's been fun, and whenever I can have some fun in this business, that's
right.
When it's exciting to see your growth and see both of us grow so much simultaneously.
Yeah, so. I can't thank you guys enough. Like I tell you every time, I'm so glad I met you guys because things would be so much different had I not, And so again, everyone watching, listening, these guys are the real deal. They put their money where their mouth is. I can't speak any more highly of you guys than I already have or will continue to do so because I mean it. Like I literally look at my PadSplit dashboard and I'm like, this is fake money, dude. This is like not real. I look at it every day. It's like, it's better than looking at my bank account. You know what I mean? I just look at this and, I'm 70, 80% occupied and then I add more rooms and it just keeps climbing. I'm like, this is so fun. And thanks to you guys.
It's exciting.
Thanks to you guys. So big shout out. Let's keep collaborating. Let's do another Find It, Fund It, Profit, but let's call it Find It, Fund It, PadSplit.
Let's do it.
Like, let's do another event soon. Maybe this summer.
Q2. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're already in Q2. Yeah. Summer.
Yeah, maybe like June, July or something.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% for it. We'll advertise it. We'll probably stick it on there.
You know what we'll do this time that people wanted more of when we did it?
What?
Going over the rehab numbers.
Okay.
Because everyone was like, okay, like the whole Find It, Fund It part, like, okay, the money part, we get it, but like, tell me more about the sauce. And that's the rehab, the controlling that.
How long is it? 3 hours? 2 hours?
We would probably make it a little closer to 3 hours.
Yeah, I think that's a good
cover an hour in that.
I have ideas.
I think we could do a number.
Definitely hey, what type of property does this look like? We could break it down super quickly.
Yeah.
And then, what type of, what does the rehab look like on something like this? Break it down. And then where do we see the rooms? How do we see the rooms? And what's nicely furnished, what's not nicely furnished? And kind of just leave them with being able to just take action.
That's a great idea.
Well, we got plans.
Go. All right,
appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Coliving with PadSplit podcast hosted by Ray and Orianna Nunez. For more exclusive content and community updates, join our Facebook group and follow us on all social media platforms. Stay tuned for more episodes.